She glanced at her watch and cursed under her breath. 5 minutes late for a blind date. She hated being late. But as she rushed down the street, weaving through the bustling crowd, she felt a tug at her sleeve. Turning, she saw a small boy, no older than 6, clutching a crumpled paper bag. His shoes were soaked, his coat torn, and his eyes wide with worry. "Are you okay?" she asked, kneeling down. He shook his head. I need to get to the hospital. My sister," his voice trembled, and she realized he was alone. Without thinking twice, she took his hand. "Don't worry. I'll help you." Minutes later, after navigating the chaotic city streets, she helped the boy reach the hospital. His sister was fine, just recovering from a minor accident, but the relief in his eyes was immeasurable. Only then did she glance at her phone. The time, she had missed her blind date. She sighed, preparing to text and apologize, expecting disappointment, maybe even anger. But as she walked into the cozy cafe where they were supposed to meet, she saw him standing outside, coat in hand, eyes scanning the street. When he noticed her, he didn't scowl or sigh. Instead, he stepped forward, his voice soft, almost breaking. "Were you helping someone?" She nodded, unsure of what to say. And then she saw it, his eyes filling with tears, not of anger, but of admiration. He reached her side, his gaze never leaving hers. "I saw you helping that boy," he said softly. That was incredible." She shrugged, embarrassed. "I just did what I thought was right. He needed help. I couldn't just walk past him." He smiled gently, but there was a glimmer of emotion in his eyes. "You know, most people would have complained about being late, or worse, ignored him. But you didn't even think about yourself." She looked away, trying to hide the lump in her throat. Her day had been chaotic, she'd woken up late, missed her bus, and now this blind date, which she half expected to be a disaster. Yet, here he was, not judging her, but somehow understanding. "I'm sorry I'm late," she murmured. "I hope you didn't wait long." "Not at all," he replied. "Honestly, watching you help that boy, it made me realize something. Kindness isn't just a word. It's action. And seeing you act so selflessly, it's inspiring." Her cheeks flushed. She had expected awkwardness, maybe disappointment. Instead, she felt a warmth spreading in her chest, a connection she hadn't felt in years. They stepped into the cafe, ordered coffee, and found a quiet corner. Conversation flowed easily, laughs, shared stories, small confessions. But her mind kept drifting back to the boy and his sister. How fragile life could be, yet how powerful simple acts of compassion were. By the time they finished their drinks, the initial tension of a blind date had completely vanished. Instead, there was a feeling of something rare, a mutual understanding that kindness, even in small moments, could shape the world. And for the first time that day, she smiled freely, not worried about being late, but grateful for the unexpected turns life had taken. They spent the next hour talking like old friends, discovering shared interests, similar struggles, and the little quirks that made them laugh. But as she recounted the morning's chaos, helping the boy and rushing through the city, she noticed his expression change. His eyes softened, and for a moment, the playful spark in his smile gave way to something deeper. "You know," he began slowly, "it's rare to meet someone who reacts to the world the way you do. Most people think about themselves first. But you care." She shook her head, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I don't feel like I did anything special." "Special?" he said, leaning closer. "Saving a little boy from panic? That's more than special. That's humanity." A quiet silence settled between them. Outside, the rain had slowed to a drizzle, light reflecting off the cafe windows. She felt a lump in her throat, not from embarrassment, but from the weight of the moment, the realization that her small act of kindness had been seen, appreciated, and understood. Then he reached across the table, gently taking her hand. "I've met many people," he said softly, "but very few make the world better just by being themselves. Today, you reminded me what truly matters. Anne. I hope you know, this is the kind of person I've been hoping to meet." Her eyes blurred. She wasn't used to such sincerity. Most first dates were awkward, full of rehearsed lines and polite smiles. But this felt real. And in that authenticity, she saw something she hadn't expected: hope. She squeezed his hand, feeling the warmth and reassurance it brought. The city outside continued its rhythm, people rushing by, but inside that small cafe, time seemed to pause. Two strangers connected through something far greater than timing, plans, or expectations. They connected through heart. And in that connection, she realized, being late had led her exactly where she needed to be. As they stepped out of the cafe, the city seemed quieter somehow, as if it too recognized the weight of the morning. The rain had stopped completely, leaving the streets glistening under the soft afternoon light. She glanced at him, feeling an unfamiliar calm, like the world had paused to reward a small act of kindness. "You know," he said, "most people would have rushed past that boy, thinking it's not their problem. But you chose to care. That tells me so much about who you are." She smiled, a little shyly. "I guess I just didn't think about myself. I saw someone who needed help and acted. I didn't think it mattered beyond that." "It matters," he said, his eyes warm. "It matters more than you realize. And today, I saw you in a way no one else has before. Not just your smile or charm, but your heart." For a moment, she felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes, not from sadness, but from gratitude. Gratitude for the unexpected turns life had taken, for meeting someone who truly understood the value of compassion, and for realizing that even small acts could ripple outward in ways she could never have imagined. They walked side by side through the streets, sharing quiet laughter and gentle conversation. The blind date that began with tardiness and anxiety had transformed into a meeting of hearts, a reminder that timing mattered less than the choices we made along the way. As they paused under a street lamp, he looked at her, eyes glistening. "Today, you reminded me that kindness isn't just something we do. It's who we are. And meeting you has been the best part of my day." She smiled, her heart full. Then maybe being late isn't always a mistake. And in that moment, amidst the ordinary city streets, two hearts found a connection built on understanding, compassion, and the simple power of human kindness.